Hello everybody, my name is Michael and I work for the Math Lab, and today we're going to be trying to solve the quadratic equation 2x squared minus 5x plus 3, which is equal to 0. So to begin with, I'm going to write out my quadratic equation, and I want to mention that, I want to compare this quadratic equation to the standard quadratic equation down here, and then figure out what a, b, and c are. In order to factor the quadratic equation that we have over here, I want to use something called the AC method. And well, it's the AC method gets its name because basically what we do to start off the AC method is we multiply the A, so in this case 2, and the C, in this case 3, together. So that gives us 6. So now what we're going to do, the next step of the AC method is to figure out the factors of 6. So 6 has the factors 1 and 6. It has the factors 3 and 2. It also has two other factors, negative 3 times negative 2, and also negative 1 times negative 6. So here's the next key part of the AC method. Since there's a plus in front of the C, I want to basically add the factors together to get this middle number here. So let me see if I can do that with any of these factors. So I add together 1 plus 6, I get 7. I add together 3 and 2, I get 5. I add together negative 3 and negative 2, I get negative 5. I add together negative 1 and negative 6, I get negative 7. So clearly the only one that works is negative 3 and 2. So now I'm going to move on to the next step of the AC method. Next step says that I break up that middle term into the factors that I found. So I'm breaking up negative 5 into negative 2x and negative 3x. And this works because, I mean, negative 2x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 3 is basically just a less simplified version of 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to keep going. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start, I want to draw parentheses here, which are just basically me focusing my attention on two numbers together, two pairs of numbers, and I'm going to put a plus sign in the middle just because I'm not changing anything here. I'm not making these two number pairs multiply each other. They're still adding to each other. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I focus my attention on these pairs of numbers, I'm going to go ahead and start factoring what they have in common out. So now this is what I get as a result. I get 2x squared minus 2x has 2x in common, so I factor that out. Negative 3x plus 3 has a 3 in common, so I factor that out. Now, if you notice here, the x's in both of these parentheses have something different about them. Their signs are kind of inverted. And here, the same thing about the 1's is true. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. So, what I'm going to do to make the signs inside the parentheses the same, what I'm going to do to make those middle terms the same is I'm going to factor out a negative 1 from one of them. So I chose the one on the right to factor out the negative 1 from. And now that I did that, I'm going to draw even larger parentheses, and I'm going to go ahead and factor out x minus 1 from both of these terms, because I see that 2x basically has an x minus 1, and negative 3 has an x minus 1. So I factor it out of both those terms. I get x minus 1 times 2x minus 3 equals 0, and then I solve for each factor. So x minus 1 equals 0, 2x minus 3 equals 0, and then I just add 3 to the other side. I get 2x equals 3, and then I divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 3 over 2. In my other one, I add 1 to both sides, and then I get x equals 1. So those are my two factors. That's how I find them using the AC method. Hope that helped. If you need any more help, come see me or any of my other friends in the Math Lab.